Welcome back. So in this section, we are going to learn one of the most important unsupervised machine learning algorithms, which is PCA, short for Principal Component Analysis. So the first step, as usual, is to import the needed libraries. So these are the libraries we are going to use throughout the section, right? We are going to use some of the sklearn libraries or the sklearn modules, and we are going to import matplotlib, numpy, pandas, pylab, and then we are going to change the figure size so we can have a much better visualizations. Okay, so what are the section objectives? First, we want to understand the difference between supervised and unsupervised learning. This is super important because throughout the last many sections, right, we discussed what do we mean exactly by supervised learning. We saw regression and classification tasks, and then in the last section we saw one of the unsupervised learning algorithm, which is k-means, right? Now we want to discuss further the difference between supervised and unsupervised learning, and then once we achieve this, we will have a conceptual understanding of the PCA. So in this lesson, we will not really go into the mathematics, we will not really go into the code, we will just have a conceptual understanding of how the principal component analysis works and why we exactly want something like this. Okay, and once we do so, we will understand the PCA drawbacks. So we will have another lesson for understanding what are the shortcomings of the PCA. Okay, and after that, we will discuss in details the PCA algorithm. So in this lesson, we will have all the mathematics we need, we will discuss all the derivations we need, and we will not really go into all the mathematics. I will leave this to you if you are interested. I will leave some resources that you can read and see all the derivation and everything. But if you are interested in the main ideas about how the algorithm itself work, then this lesson will answer all your questions. Okay, and then once we do so, you will see that we have two new terminologies. We have the covariance matrix and we have another term called SVD, okay, singular value decomposition. So we will understand the difference between these two things, right? And then we will have a clear idea about the main applications of the PCA. So PCA is actually used for many applications. So in this lesson, I will give you an overview about the applications that you can use with PCA. Okay, and in fact after that we will implement the PCA algorithm from scratch for image compression. So image compression is one of the most famous applications of the PCA, and we will implement this algorithm from scratch, and you will see the image uncompressed and compressed using the PCA and see how the PCA actually performs, right? And then we will implement the PCA again from scratch, but for data pre-processing and visualization. And this is also one of the main applications of the PCA. And after that, we will use our implementation for regression tasks and compare the performance with the PCA and without it, right? So we will first do regression using support vector machines, right? Regression tasks, and we will get the results, and then we will perform the PCA as a pre-processing step, okay? And after we do so, we will understand the pie plot and the scree plot. These are two new plots that are made specifically for the PCA. So we need to understand these two terminologies, understand how we can plot them in terms of code, and understand how we can read these plots. Okay? And finally, we will discuss the importance of feature scaling for PCA. So we discussed the feature scaling before in many lessons, but sometimes it's very important for some of the machine learning algorithms than others. Okay, so we will discuss why feature scaling is really important if you are going to work with PCA, and then the section will be concluded, but we will have a bonus project for you. So we are going to work with face detection, right, or face classification. So by the end, you will see that PCA is actually used for classifying faces, right? And it was one of the very first successful face detection algorithms, right? Back in the 80s or back in the 90s. And we will see how we can use PCA for performing a task like this. So this will be the project for this section. It will be a bonus project if you are interested. Okay, so let's get started in the next lesson by understanding the difference between supervised and unsupervised learning. So let's go.